Hey Underdogs, welcome back to Underdogs Rise, the podcast where we rise and we rise together. Today's episode is simple, but it might also challenge you like it has challenged me. To love yourself, you must decide, you must choose to do things that you admire. Not to think about them, not to talk about them, not to plan them endlessly, to do them. A lot of people are chasing self-love like it's a feeling. Like one day you just wake up and suddenly, I love myself. Everything's good now. But that's not how it works. Self-love is not something that you wait for. It is something that you build. And that takes time. And you don't build it through affirmations alone. You build it through evidence that you show your mind and your body. And you do that through actions and through keeping promises to yourself. Think about someone that you admire. It could be anyone. Someone disciplined. Someone kind. Someone who shows up even when it's hard. Then ask yourself this. What do they actually do? Because admiration isn't random, it's based on behaviour. You don't admire people for what they say that they do. You admire them for what they repeatedly do. So here's the shift. If you want to love yourself, you need to become someone you would admire. And this is where most people get stuck. I've been there. And there may be parts of me that are still stuck. I'm working through it. And this is why I created the podcast, is that, Underdogs rise and we rise together, because I mean it, because I understand how it feels to be stuck. Waiting to feel confident to take action, or waiting to feel ready. But confidence doesn't come first, action does. Let me give you a simple truth. And this is a reminder for me too. You don't hate yourself because you're broken. You struggle because your actions and your values are out of alignment. You say you value growth, but you stay comfortable. You say you value honesty, but you avoid hard conversations. You say you want discipline, but you negotiate with yourself every morning. That gap, that is where our self-doubt lives. And that's where frustration builds. But the great news, the world-class news, is that you can close that gap. Not by changing everything overnight, but by choosing one thing and doing it consistently. Let's make this practical. If you admire discipline, start small. Wake up when you said you would, even if it's just 10 minutes earlier. If you admire honesty, say the thing that you've been avoiding, even if your voice shakes. If you admire courage, take one step forward towards something that scares you. Send the message, start the project, have the conversation. Because every time that you act in alignment with what you admire, you send a message to yourself. I'm becoming that person. And that builds self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of self-love. And here's something that I didn't like to hear. And you may not like it either. You can't talk your way into loving yourself. You can't you just can't journal your way there alone. You can't think your way there. At some point you have to move. And I know what you might be thinking, because these are the thoughts that I've had and still do at times. What if I fail? What if I don't follow through? And what if I mess it up? You will. That's part of it. But here's the difference. Failure doesn't destroy self-love. Avoidance does. Because when you avoid what you know you should do, you reinforce the belief that you can't trust yourself. And trust is everything. It's everything. So instead of asking, how do I love myself more? Ask this. What would someone I admire do today? And then go and do that. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, just honestly. Let's zoom out for a moment. Let's create some space. Our lives are built on the smallest of things. Not the big dramatic challenges. Not in the once in a lifetime moments. But in our daily choices that nobody sees. Do you keep your word to yourself? Do you show up for yourself even when it's convenient? And do you do the work even when motivation is gone? Because here's the truth. You're always watching yourself. Even when nobody else is. And the way that you see yourself is shaped in by what you do in those moments. So if you consistently break promises to yourself, you don't trust yourself. If you avoid discomfort, you don't respect yourself. And if you stay stuck in patterns you know aren't serving you, you start to question your identity. And these are all things that I have done. And I've done them recently. But flip that. Keep one promise a day. Just one. Do one thing that you admire. And watch what happens. You start to walk differently. You start to think differently. You start to believe in something new. Maybe I am capable. Let me challenge you. Not in a motivational way, but in a real grounded way. Stop trying to overhaul your whole life. Pick one standard, and raise it. Maybe it's your morning routine. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's how you speak to people. Maybe it's your work ethic. Pick one. And pick one that you know you admire in someone else. And commit to it. No negotiation, no overthinking, no waiting for the perfect moment, just action. Because here's what happens when you do this. You stop chasing self-love. And you start earning it. And listen, this isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aligned. And there will be days that you slip. And days that you show up fully. That's being human. But the goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. Returning to the standard again and again and again. Because every time you come back, you prove something powerful to yourself. I do not give up on myself. And that's where real self-love lives. Not how you feel when things are easy, but in how you show up when things are hard. So as you go into your today or tomorrow, don't overcomplicate this. Ask yourself one question. What would I respect myself for doing right now? And then do it. It might be uncomfortable. It might be inconvenient. It might not feel good in the moment. But afterwards, you'll feel something deeper than motivation. And that's alignment. And over time, that turns into confidence. That turns into trust. And that turns into self-love. You don't find self-love, family. You build it, one action at a time, one decision at a time, one standard at a time. And remember, you don't become someone you admire by accident. You become them by choices. Underdogs rise, and we rise together.